Hello all and welcome to Astro Wheel of Fortune. My name is Vlada and I read tarot. Now I've been kind of missing for a little while if you've noticed. I just needed to take some time and a little break. I've been feeling very overwhelmed. I think a lot of people have been. I think February has been a really intense month for most people, just from what I've heard, just from what I've seen from everyone really. So I just needed to take a little bit of a time out and yeah, I'm back now with the March reading, so I really hope that you enjoy this reading. The way that I'm gonna do it is we have 5 piles, but I've just shuffled some oracle cards. I did not go near tarot cards yet. I'm going to be live shuffling on camera for your tarot. So if you want to pause the video for your March predictions, we're going to see if we can find something on love life. I'm going to see what the cards want to talk about. I'm not going to, I know sometimes I look at all the areas. Sometimes I look at just the general vibe. I think I'm just going to look at what the cards want to talk about for you in March. If you want to pause the video, you can do so now, but I'm going to get started with pile number 1. So pile number 1, let's see, what is your March predicting for you? We've got Priest and we've got the Panther Spirit. Now, Panther Spirit, I tend to pull it quite a lot for, especially for my private clients, people I read for privately, in months or days or in situations where you're becoming very fierce, where the person is becoming very strong with their boundaries, where the person is really tapping into their personal strength, but they're also not exhibiting too much power. They're not trying to overpower anybody in their inner circle, etc. With the Panther Spirit, because the Panthers, to me, I always see them as kind of lone wolves kind of energy, but they're also very fierce and they're also very powerful on their own. So I'm seeing a lot of power being channeled here for you, pile 1. It could be even spiritual power, but there's a theme of personal empowerment and just believing in yourself and being kind of like your own guide, being your own best mentor, being your own biggest inspiration. That's another thing that I'm getting here. Yeah, I think you're going to be feeling very empowered in March. I also think of a mentor when I look at Panther, because I always think of like the whole Jungle Book scenario, and I feel like with Bagheera being kind of like a mentor to Mowgli, so it's kind of that comes through as well for me a lot of the time when I look at the Panther card. So I think with March, it could be that you are tapping into mentorship, whether it's for other people or just being a mentor to yourself. It really doesn't matter, but you're seeing that you carry a lot of wisdom and you're able to teach people a lot of things, or a lot more than you expected to be able to teach people in the past. There's a lot of power here, really powerful. I think a lot of people are going to be looking up to you in March for whatever reason, but let's get into that. Let's see what other What else is here in terms of pile 1's March? What is this inner power? What is this mentorship? Okay, we've got, you're going to be happy that you stood your ground on something in March, that you put your foot down on something. Maybe in February you really had to put your foot down and really express certain feelings and really had to express certain opinions. For some of you, maybe these opinions were like controversial to the people you were talking to. Maybe these opinions seemed like, maybe at the time you felt like, oh, am I being too harsh? Am I setting? You're going to be happy you set some sort of boundary. That's what I'm getting with pile number 1. You're going to be happy you set some sort of boundary. You could have even done it with multiple people, and as a result, you're either inspiring other people or you're just inspiring yourself in the process. Like, yes, I can do this. Yes, I can set boundaries and not be afraid of it. You're going to be really happy you did something that in the moment maybe you felt, is this the right thing that I'm doing? If in February at any point you felt, oh, the fact that I'm setting this boundary, is it okay? Or am I being unreasonable? I feel like it's going to prove to you, like March is going to prove to you that you were being perfectly reasonable. You were correct to set that boundary. Ace of Swords. Something that wasn't clear to you. Yeah. I think a certain boundary that wasn't clear that you had to set becomes very clear, and you realize that you can refine boundaries over time as well. You don't have to, obviously it's good to catch things early and to set boundaries early, but I feel like you're going to realize that it's never too late to set a boundary. Even if you've known a person for years, you can still set a boundary with them after a few years have passed of knowing them. You can always show people who you are now. I think some people are going to be a little bit intimidated by you in March for whatever reason. Maybe it is the person that you set a boundary with. I feel like people are going to find you intimidating. And some may be in a good way, some may be in a bad way. It doesn't even matter in what way they're going to find you intimidating. And see, I'm just looking at the panther, and we've got this black cat here. It's almost like inside you might feel like a little black cat, but in reality you're like this, you can always harness this energy of this like powerful panther. So that's kind of what is coming through. I feel like somebody you set a boundary with maybe used to see you as just like this little helpless black cat, but is now seeing the full extent of like what you're capable of and how you're able to stand up for yourself. I'm also hearing I will not hesitate to cut people off. So I wonder if in March you're kind of feeling this kind of energy of like, I will not hesitate to move away from people, to walk away from people, to achieve your own happiness. I think with the Four of Wands, really. The Four of Wands talks about, celebration. It talks about the home as well. So maybe you set some boundaries with like a housemate or a family member or somebody you share a home with. This could even be your partner. And maybe this boundary is actually bringing you a lot more happiness than you initially thought, so it doesn't have to be anything too dramatic. Like it could have been just you setting a boundary with somebody you live with, and as a result of that they're not doing a certain thing that used to bother you, and so you are in a much happier place and they're in a much happier place as a result of this as well. I don't know why I keep hearing happy wife, happy life. Like I don't really like that saying, or happy life, happy wife. I don't really like that saying, but that came through in my head for some reason. So if that resonates with someone, we've got Page of Swords, the World card in reverse. Yeah, I feel like you were quite blunt with someone. I feel like there's something is paying off. It's like the universe is paying off your bluntness, but it's not like, I don't think you were rude. I think you just stood your ground and you said enough is enough, or you said I'm not standing for this. And the universe saw your command of the situation. The universe saw your ability to stand up for yourself and to really channel your inner strength and inner power, and the universe said, do you know what, I'm gonna reward them in March. I'm gonna reward them for standing their ground. I'm gonna reward them. There's some sort of a reward that is coming in because of you setting boundaries and because of you being blunt and honest about what you expect. This could have been even in a job situation, it could have been that you maybe set a very strong boundary in work, and as a result the universe is handing you some sort of opportunity, like maybe somebody took note of you setting that boundary and saw that you did it in a very healthy way and you did it in a very mature, I'm getting a very mature energy from pile 1 if I'm honest, very mature, very, very distinguished. I think somebody's going to take note of your ability to set boundaries. I think there's going to be some sort of reward because the Nine of Pentacles to me talks about rewards and treat yourself kind of energy. A lot of the time it's when you've done a lot of hard work. So you've put in work into something. This doesn't necessarily have to be a job situation. This could be, we put work into everything in our, life is work. We have to work for things, and not in this kind of capitalist way. I'm trying to say like we have to put effort into things in order for things to work, right? For things to function. So I see there's something that you put work in, whether it was setting a boundary with a boss or whether it was setting a boundary with a coworker or a family member or a partner, as I said. This is really going to pay off. something that maybe you felt, oh, I don't know if I should have said that, or I don't know if I should have done that, is really going to pay off in March in maybe even a little bit of an unexpected way. But you're going to be really, really happy, and you're going to be feeling like I did the right thing in the end. There's a vindication to this scenario. I think March is a month of rewards, honestly, for pile number 1. And a lot of it has to do with you speaking your mind and standing in your power. For some of you, maybe you have had some trouble with speaking your mind. Maybe you've had some trouble with, it could have been like throat chakra blockages. Again, I'm not very versed on chakras, so I'm not going to try and like go into that. I feel like there is just something, like I'm kind of feeling like a breakthrough that you had, that you've been maybe an issue or like a boundary that you couldn't set for a while, and maybe it was very difficult to set this boundary for a good while. And it's almost like maybe you had an anticipation that by setting this boundary, things were going to get worse, or things were going to get, ugly for some reason is the word that comes to mind. You thought things were going to get ugly, but in reality, what ended up happening is that things got better, and things started running smoother, and people maybe heard you and people understood you, and that could have even come as a little bit of a shock to you. But I think in March you're going to be really proven wrong in a way, that things are actually working. And there's a lot of 4s here, by the way. I'm just getting a lot of 4s. We've got 4 of Wands and the 4-4 on the Panther card. So number 4 could be really significant, or you could see 444 a lot as an angel number. That's something that's coming through as well. But I feel like you are going to see that you are protected in stating your boundaries, because 444, I'm pretty sure, is the angel number of like protection. Like you're protected. You can go into a certain situation. So this could even be, maybe you haven't set this boundary yet, although I think for like 95% of you, you've already set this boundary. Maybe if you've been mulling it over and trying to think whether you should set this boundary, go ahead. You are protected. It's safe to speak your truth. It's safe to express yourself. You are very fierce in March, and I feel like carrying on this energy of like I'm setting boundaries is really important in March. You're in a really good role when it comes to setting boundaries. I'm also hearing your boundaries are your own to define. It's kind of like you take ownership of the boundaries that you set. Don't set boundaries, and I think you know this already, but there's something about like not setting a boundary and then going like, well, or whatever you think, or let's set this boundary and see how it goes. Like, own your boundaries, own what you expect. You are a boss, and there's something very, very independent about you in March. Like, be independent, stand in your own truth, because to me, like, 9 of Pentacles is independence and Panther is independence. So there's something very independent about you, and if anything, people are looking up to you. Maybe you're not really realizing it yet, but people are looking up to you. And what I keep being pulled towards with the 7 of Wands, and then I'm looking at the 4 of Wands, I'm almost getting like the very people that maybe used to point at you or disrespect your boundaries are the ones that are going to start celebrating you. Maybe not all of them, but I feel for a lot of you there could be some sort of and not necessarily that people that like hated you or anything like that. It could be that people maybe always had something to say about you, or to nitpick your work, or to nitpick at something, are going to turn around and start celebrating you. So don't be surprised if like very unlikely characters come out of the woodwork and have something nice to say to you, and have some sort of like celebratory, like they want to celebrate you and they want to show you that they respect you. Because I'm seeing that you're maturing, and I think the month of March is really going to show you that you're very, like, you're fierce, but you're fierce in this kind of almost, you don't need to prove to anyone that you're fierce. You just are. And I think a lot of people are recognizing you. Again, as I said, a lot of people that maybe just saw you as a little black kitten are going to see you as a fully fledged, like, Panther badass by the end of March. So yeah, there's a real growth in independence, in respectability. I think you're going to feel like, yes, I set those boundaries for a reason. Thank you, universe, for bringing that opportunity to set that boundary. And if you're worried about certain boundary that you have set currently, I think that's your guides coming through and reassuring you and letting you know that you did the right thing. So that's the reading that I got for your March pile number 1. I really enjoyed doing your reading. If you liked it, do like, subscribe, and comment. Let me know what you thought of it, and I will see you in my next video. And I'm going to move on to pile 2. So pile 2, let's see what is waiting for you in March 2021. We've got Mystic and we've got Groundhog Spirit. Okay. Revels in intimate union with the divine. And we've got Groundhog Spirit, time to let go. Again, a very spiritual pile. Pile 1 was quite spiritual as well. So maybe a lot of people are having revelations. As I said, it seems like February was a very tough, just energetically, almost like introspectively, was a very tough month for a lot of people. Groundhog also makes me think of like staying in. Again, I'm sure people are sick of hearing about staying in, but there's something about you going inwards in March, and connecting to yourself in your truest kind of form. And there's also repetition, but not that kind of repetition that's annoying. I'm getting something about like repetitive, like kind of maybe starting a new habit or something like that. Like I feel like some of you are going to start new habits, whether it's eating healthier or, you know, even getting up and going for like some sort of exercise every morning. It doesn't have to be anything elaborate. There's just new habits that are being established. Maybe it's not smoking every morning or something like that. You know, it could be that you're limiting the amount of smokes that you have if you do smoke. Like this is just like examples. It doesn't have to be necessarily what I say, or, you know, waking up earlier every day. There's a repetition of tasks to establish them as habits. That's what I'm getting. You're trying to establish new habits to change who you are on this like molecular level. Like you're trying to change the fabric of who you are through your habits and through connecting to the truest version of yourself. So there could be a lot of journaling, there could be a lot of gratitude exercises, there could be a lot of meditating, you know, whatever resonates with you. Again, I'm not trying to like force a certain habit on you. These are just the ones that are coming to mind. Changing your whole perspective by just doing little tiny things. You know, maybe you're trying to eliminate caffeine or something like that. Again, not necessarily something I'm telling you to do. This is just examples. Okay, let's see. We're going to pull some tarot to see what is this repetition? What is this, you know, establishing of habits? I keep being attracted to the love heart that the groundhog has here as well. So maybe it's habits to do with relationships. Maybe it's your habits to do with a partnership, or habits in relationships in general. Like, how do you see relationships? Maybe you're trying to reframe the way that you see potential partners. Maybe you're trying to reframe the way that you and your partner look. 7 of Pentacles. When I think of 7 of Pentacles, I literally think of something that when you're growing or changing something by doing something small every day. It's a painstaking kind of process, but you have to do it. You have to do it. It's like, it's hard work, but it pays off. That's what it feels like to me. Hard work that you have to do every day, that you have to commit. There's a certain level of commitment to something again and again and again. Maybe you're committing to in your relationship, and you're, or maybe in a relationship that you're deciding to work on. Again, doesn't have to be necessarily relationship related. I am attracted to the love heart here. Something that you have to do every day to change the trajectory in which you're going. So, you know, it's kind of like if you never exercised, you know, you'd be going towards a different area of life or a different way of living, rather than if you woke up every morning and you exercised. Or, you know, if you woke up, and again, it's like our habits we're literally our habits. Like, as humans, we are our habits. So whatever it is that we are used to doing, what we're pulled towards, that is exactly what we end up connecting to, like as an individual. We're a collection of habits if you think of us as just like individuals. Okay, we've got the Wheel of Fortune. This is a really, like, I feel like this is a really good month. I think it's going to be quite a simple month if you look at it. If you look at it like in March, and you're looking at March and you're kind of like, it's a simple month. I'm just kind of changing things around. I'm creating new habits. I'm creating new rules for myself. I'm creating a new way of living. But when you look at this March, maybe let's say a year, like March 2022, you end up looking back on March 2021, you go, that's where the new me was born. I think that's how you're going to look at this month. It's kind of like, that's when the new me was born. That's when the new version of me really formulated. So that's really coming through. Like, it may feel very simple while you're in the thick of it. But once you look back on it, you're going to really see how, oh, that month really changed a lot of things for me. It really changed who I was as a person. It really changed my opinions, you know? And we've got the Fool card in reverse. The Fool card in reverse often makes me think of experience and trying to gain experience, and not, when we look at the Fool card, it's all about kind of like, going into things blindly, but maybe like not necessarily in a foolish way. It's just like you're going into things blindly and you're just like, let's just take a chance. Like, let's just take a risk. You're not a risk taker in March. You are very connected to your intuition, and you're very connected to your experience. You're aware of where previous experiences have brought you to, and you're interested in changing certain things. For a lot of you, maybe you're, habits don't necessarily have to be like eating, exercising, it could be the way that you clean your home. Like, it could be a variety of things. But with the Fool card in reverse, maybe there's something that you tried. It could be a career situation. It could be in a relationship. Again, that came through. It could have been a relationship that you tried before that didn't work a certain way. So you're going back and you're saying, okay, in order for it to work again, or to work this time, we need to change the habits within the relationship, or I need to change the habits within the job that I'm doing, or whatever it is. Like, there's a feeling of trying something again, but it's not necessarily like you're trying it again. You're trying a different version of it again, and you're being more mindful, and you're being more aware. There's something about looking at things from a bigger perspective, from a, higher up perspective. Okay. Trying things again, maybe picking up an old hobby that you did before and it didn't really stick with you, but now you're there's like a new way that you want to do it. There's a new way that you're willing to try it, and you're saying, God loves a trier. That came through in my head. So maybe you're realizing that, things are not always perfect first time around. Sometimes you have to try it again, and maybe a second time, maybe a third time, so there is that kind of like willingness to painstakingly put time and effort into something. There's a willingness to work on something very, very diligently. So I really commend you, Pile 2, because I feel like you are someone who understands that things, we should always strive to look for things that seem to flow and things that work. But sometimes things do require work. Sometimes things do require attention, and there's beauty in repairing things or trying things again as well. It's not always like, oh, it didn't work the first time, oh, it wasn't meant for me, and I feel like you realize that the difference between where you're trying again and again and you're kind of being desperate by trying again and again, and the difference where you're trying again, but this is something that really is something that is worth trying again. The difference between the two is really intuition. Is your intuition telling you need to stick with it and you just need to keep going and work on it? Or is your intuition telling you run from this? And I feel like in this instance, in March for Pile 2, it's something that is telling you something like your intuition is telling you, hey, there's something here. And even if you don't get the result that you want, you're definitely going to get the result that you need. And that's what you're realizing. And I think this could be a relationship, a job, like a hobby, a career move. But something has to change this time around. Something has to be different. Because I'm kind of hearing we've been here before. I've been here before. It's like you've been at a certain crossroad before, but you did things a different way that didn't work. And this time you just have to do it a certain way that you haven't tried before. That's really a strong message coming through. We've got the Empress card upright. Yeah, you're very assured of yourself. You're not indecisive in this case. Like, I'm not getting an indecision. You're very sure that you want to try something again, that you want to put effort into something again. Yeah. You're not wanting to stay in like a safe, I'm almost hearing like if I gave up on this, I'd be taking the easy route out. So you're kind of acknowledging that it's not exactly the easiest thing to go at this situation again, to go at this relationship again, to go at this career again, but you're kind of solidifying it in yourself that this is something that feels like it is for you, and it feels like it's meant to teach you a lesson by working really hard on it, and it's something that is meant to pay off eventually for you. So intuitively you are very connected, and I feel like this is a reading for those of you that maybe have been, this makes me think like, even like, and again, I say this in a lot of my readings, I'm not going to talk about it too long, but like my YouTube channel, I literally feel like I am exhausted with it. I've been doing it for like over a year now, and I'm struggling to get any subscribers, but I still feel like I have to keep going. I don't have an explanation for it. I don't know why. I just feel like I have to keep going. I just feel like I have to keep pushing through. And yes, sometimes I need to take a break. Sometimes I need to take a step back, but I cannot explain it, but I just feel like I need to keep going. I feel like this is the energy that you are capturing, pile 2. You're capturing this energy of like, I don't know why, but I know I have to put work in, and I know I have to take a different approach, try a few different things. A few things are not going to work, but a few might. I refuse to take the easy road. That's basically what I'm getting here for you, pile 2. I think you're refusing to take the easy way out. I'm also getting like, even if I need to start from scratch, I'll start from scratch. Even if I need to, there could be a lot of this energy of like, I tried this before and maybe it failed, but I still have the knowledge from when I tried before. It's not like I'm going into this blindly. Again, as we had the Fool card in reverse, you're not going into this blindly. You're going into this with some sort of knowledge and some sort of wisdom that you've gained from the last time that you tried this. I'm hearing it's like maybe a side of you is going, what if it doesn't work again? And another side of you goes, yeah, but what if it does? So there's kind of like this maybe a little bit of a fight between the unsure side of you and between this determined side of you. But I think the determined side is very powerful and is really ready and up for the challenge. Like, you're up for a challenge in March. You're a really good problem solver in March. So, if something requires problem solving, definitely tackle that shit. That's what I'm hearing. You are in a good flow. You are very hardworking in March. You know what you deserve, and you know what you're willing to work on and what you're not willing to work on. And you're also very aware. I'm just hearing like, I don't want the easy way out. I think you want your life to be not complicated in this kind of negative way. You want complexity in your life. You want nuances in your life. You want lessons. You want to lead an interesting life, and you want to make sure that you experience the extent of emotions and extent of problem solving. I think naturally you're a really strong problem solver. It's almost like you're looking at your life from a scientific point of view. You're kind of like, what are the variables? If this is a situation where maybe you tried a certain career and it didn't work, you're like, what are the variables? What variables can I change so that it potentially could work? If this is a relationship, maybe it's the same thing. It's like, what are the variables that I can change within this relationship that me and my partner, or me or whoever, or this relationship could be a platonic relationship, like me and a friend. What what can we change in order to assure a different outcome this time around? And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but at least I learned something. So you're really in this very Mercury type of energy, even though we don't really have an indication of Mercury here. For some reason, I'm getting that a lot. We do have like the Fool card, which is ruled by Uranus. So Uranus is all about innovation. And again, whenever I think of the planet Uranus, I always think of, like scientific discoveries, innovation. So there's something like that here. You're trying to be innovative about your own life and how you approach. You don't give up. Pile 2, you're definitely not the type to give up. You're someone who knows what they want. You'll give up when you feel like it's time to give up, but you're always gonna have a different way to try something. So that's what I'm getting for you. Pile 2, really cool reading. I really enjoyed doing this one. Let me know what you think of it in the comments. If you have any feedback for me, I'd love to hear it. But I'm going to move on. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm going to move on to the next pile. We've got pile 3. So pile 3, let's see what is going on for you in March. We've got Damsel. And we've got Koala Spirit. Spirit has a plan. Understanding the nature of healthy romance inspires you to rely on yourself. Relying on yourself. But also both cards have this a feeling of like receiving. I'm not getting necessarily like, and this is not to like offend you. I just feel like you're not in the go-getter energy in, again, we have glorified as a society, we have glorified the idea of a go-getter, somebody who goes and gets what they want. And again, it's great. It's great. I'm not knocking the idea of a go-getter, but I think a lot of the time we forget that it's okay to also receive, and that there's benefits in sitting back, observing and receiving as well. So I feel like you are in the energy of receiving and allowing things into your life rather than going and grabbing and getting them. I think you're allowing the universe to show you what it has, because sometimes I feel maybe people tend to see the universe as like this shopping center or something like that, especially when we talk about manifesting. It's like you get specific about what you want and you go and get it, and you grab it, you grab the opportunities or whatever. But maybe the way that we need to see the universe sometimes is more like a delivery service, where you say what you want, but you're not actually going out and getting it. Like, it's gonna deliver it to you at some point. So there's, and I feel like the universe is both. Sometimes you actually have to go and do the work and get it, but sometimes the universe is just gonna give it to you as well. So it's about finding the balance. And I think that's what you're in that energy of like, I'm just gonna sit pretty. I'm going to sit pretty and I'm going to see what the universe can offer me. Like, what pitch does the universe have for me, and what can it offer, and what can it show me? Some of you could be taking a break from something. Genuinely, some of you could literally just take a break from something and decide to go, I'm not doing, you could take a break from your job. Or maybe you're taking a break from doing a certain project because you feel like you've maybe been in too much of an obsessive state over it or something like that. But with pile 3, I really feel like you're trying to learn how to receive rather than to give or be a go-getter. You're trying to allow blessings in. And again, it's very easy to say, oh yeah, I'm just going to sit and relax and wait for things to come to me. But like, when we do actually relax, and I think I'm always in this situation where I go, I'm just going to relax and I'm going to take a break. And then you start thinking of all the ways that you could be doing something, and you could be achieving something, and you could be going after something. So I feel like you are really channeling the energy of like, no, I'm just sitting back. I'm sitting back and allowing things to come in. Spirit has a plan. I feel like you're an understanding that the universe has a plan for you. Again, we all have free will. It's not like, things are written in the stars for you. But at the end of the day, it's okay to allow as well. To allow and to sit back. And I think you're realizing that in March, and you're wanting to sit back. I almost feel like I want to sit back myself in this chair. I'm kind of like, just want to sit back. I don't want to do as much as I'm always. Maybe you're kind of like, I'm always doing the most. I'm always doing so much, and this month, I want other people to do the most for me. I don't want to be doing the most. I just want to relax. I don't want to sit here expecting things. So we've got the 10 of Pentacles in reverse. We've got the Page of Wands in reverse. Yeah, instead of like climbing on a journey or something like that, that's too many cards. I'm just gonna keep shuffling. You're not embarking on a journey. You're not embarking on some sort of adventure. You're just saying to yourself, I'm gonna sit back. I'm going to sit back and relax. For some of you, this could be a situation where you're worried that you're going to be too impulsive. And you're not wanting to be too impulsive. You're wanting to kind of take your time. Maybe there's a decision to be made and you're not wanting to be impulsive with the decision. You want to be able to just kind of figure it out in a more calm kind of way. I'm also seeing that in the past, maybe you would have gone to people in your circle, like you could have gone to your family to help you figure things out, and you're deciding to just sit back and go, the answer will come to me when the time comes. That's the kind of feeling that I'm getting here. It's like the answer will be there when the time comes. You're really putting a lot of trust in the universe. You're really putting a lot of trust in your spirit guides to tell you. Again, as I said, we all have autonomy. We all have free will. It's not like you're not going to have free will. But the reason that you're deciding to sit back is because you have free will. You're literally executing free will by sitting back and going, I'm going to see what comes to me. I think for a lot of you, this could have to do with releasing some anxious thoughts, trying to release. Some of you could be working on your mental health in a big way. And maybe that's why you're sitting back, because you're realizing that there's other things on an internal level, on a mental level that you want to look at. Like for some reason, messages from spirit keeps coming in my head, like just messages from spirit. Some of you could literally be asking your spirit guides, your spirit team, your whatever it is that you believe in, God, universe. You could be sitting back and meditating and saying, I'm not going to think about any solutions or answers. I'm going to meditate, and my guides, the universe, are going to give me an answer eventually when they feel like they have to. I think some of you are making a big choice. That's what I'm getting. Maybe you're making a big choice. It could be you're choosing a new place to live or something like that. Maybe you're making a big choice in your career, or maybe in a relationship. There's something about you making a really big choice, and instead of panicking about this choice and feeling chaotic about this choice, you're deciding to sit back and go, I'm just going to let information filter through me. I'm going to observe my thoughts on this decision. I'm going to observe what my worries are. And I'm going to allow myself to receive the answer that I need to receive. There's something you're kind of like, this decision is not even, it's like, it's up to you, the decision and the choice that you have to make. And that you have to make this decision. But you're also realizing that the easiest way to make a choice sometimes is to not to be thinking it through constantly, but on the contrary, to sit back and go, I'm just going to observe how my body's feeling. Maybe you're just making a choice by kind of asking your body what it wants to do. The way that a lot of people say, if you have a really important decision to make, sit straight, kind of like sit, relax, and ask your body, like give your body the two options and kind of observe your body. Where does it seize up? Where does it become uncomfortable? And where does it kind of feel a little bit more natural? I think I heard another thing where it's like, where you have a big choice to make, you, before going to bed, you ask yourself about the two choices. And I think try and pay attention to your dreams that night, so again, sometimes that's not possible because people don't always remember their dreams, but maybe those are the type of techniques that you're going to be looking at for making the decision, rather than sitting and doing like pros and cons and what does logically make sense. And again, as I always say, I feel like people probably think I'm always knocking logic, or I'm not knocking logic. In fact, I do think that logic is going to have its place in your decision making, but I feel like you're just not going to over rely on the logical side of it. You're also going to rely on what you want to do and what your intuition is telling you to do as well. You're not going to be impulsive in March. You're going to take your time, but you're going to take your time not because you're overthinking something. Because in fact, a lot of the time when you're overthinking something is when you're likely to do something impulsive. You're going to allow your intuition to guide you, and you're going to allow your thoughts to kind of just be a part of the process rather than being the reason why you're making a choice, if that makes sense. You're not you're not putting pressure on yourself in March. But I do feel like there's almost like a decision that maybe would have really, I wouldn't say broke you in the past, but a decision that would have made you feel so overwhelmed in the past is going to show up for you in March, and you're going to find it, not that you're going to find it easy making this decision, but you're going to find it easy navigating through it because you're allowing your body, your intuition, and your intellect in at the same time. And I think in a lot of ways you're going to be excited at the opportunity to make this big choice, because it's like in the past, this kind of choice or this kind of decision would have scared the shit out of you. And in March, in fact, it's not scaring you. It's making you excited for the opportunity to make a decision, to take autonomy of your path, to take autonomy of, your future. You're also not listening. I'm kind of getting like not listening to what traditionally is expected of you as well. So depending on whether your family or your inner circle or whatever it is, like society expects a certain thing of you, this is not going to factor in this choice. I think maybe in the past you would have while making a choice you would have felt like, oh, I'm going to factor in, what does my family want? What am I expected to do? What would society want me to do? Not that you're asking yourself those questions, but maybe on a subliminal or subconscious level, those things would have affected you in the past. But I think in the month of March, whatever decision you are making, or maybe a string of decisions you're making these decisions with the idea of, I'm listening to my body and I'm listening to what's best for me rather than what's best like for, a family member. Because this decision has to do with me. It's not to do with anyone else. Yeah, for some of you, you're really challenging some sort of authority, or this could be even like, there could be a masculine energy. It could be a father figure that you're challenging, or maybe a partner that you're challenging. Not that you're challenging anyone, because challenging I think is the wrong word for March for you. You're very laid back in March, so I feel like maybe it's you're not so much challenging, but you're probably only giving credit where credit is due. So, if let's say there's a father figure that, traditionally expected something of you, you're kind of you're looking at it through a filter of, yes, but this, my father, for example, doesn't have to deal with this decision, or, live with the career that I choose, or live with the whatever it is that I choose. Like, you're not allowing things to weigh on you in that kind of way. It's like, yes, I might have to disappoint a couple of people if I make this decision, but I have to factor in what's best for me. You're challenging a lot of traditional paths. Like, maybe people like you in inverted commas were traditionally meant to do a certain thing in your family or in your circle or in society, and you're kind of saying, screw that, I'm not interested, and I want to make a choice towards what feels right and fresh to me and not to somebody else, because another person doesn't have to live my life, I do. Yeah. You're wanting to stand by yourself and do right by you, but at the same time you're wanting to do it in a more laid back way, and you're wanting the universe to kind of, you're almost kind of saying like, hey, the universe, can you do the work for me, because I don't feel like doing work right now. Again, it doesn't mean that you're lazy or anything like that. It's just you don't want to do the work right now. You're gonna have to do a certain level of work, of course, to make this decision. You're gonna have to be decisive in some sort of way, but you're also allowing the universe to kind of make the decision for you in some sort of way as well. You're kind of like, universe, you know what's best for me. I trust you. Take the wheel. Like, universe, take the wheel. I don't care. Just please show me, and I'll go with whatever you have to show me. That's kind of and it's not that you're fed up or you're angry or you're pissed off. I think you're just ready to take the back seat and just go, I trust. I trust things are going to work out for me. With that, a lot of authenticity can actually come into your life. And I think in March, you're wanting to be authentic. You're wanting to be honest about who you are, but you're also not wanting to fight for it so much. You're kind of like, I'm kind of sensing you're tired of fighting. You're just not interested in fighting or struggling through something. You're interested in honoring your truth, but also not having to fight for your truth, if that makes sense. But yeah, really interesting reading, pile 3. Let me know if that resonated. If you like this reading, do like, subscribe, and comment. I'd love to hear your feedback as well. But I'm going to move on to pile number 4, and we're gonna see what is going on with you, pile number 4, in March 2021. What is the energy? We've got Avenger, Brown Bear Spirit, and Beaver Spirit. A lot of solid foundation energy with the Brown Bear and the Beaver Spirit. Foundations, strength, fairness. You're very kind of clear cut in March. I think you're looking to simplify things potentially as well. You're wanting to build. You might be wanting to build with someone. So if you're in a relationship, you could be really focusing on building the relationship further. You could be focusing on really establishing solid, strong foundation with the partner. If this is not with a partner, it could be like in a job. Maybe you're really taking something very seriously, and seriously enough to lay solid foundations. You're wanting to create something solid and strong for yourself. You're speaking your truth. You're speaking a lot of, you know what? I have to say, pretty much every pile, I haven't done pile 5 yet, but there's a lot of energy of like honesty and being true to yourself in March. So maybe that is something that is happening on the collective level. But this pile really feels very solid to me, like really wanting a secure home. Maybe some of you could be moving to a very secure place, like a secure home where you feel safe, where you feel at peace. There's a lot of peaceful energy with you. But let's see what's going on. We're gonna pull some tarot cards for you, pile 4. I think some of you are really tired. I'm not gonna lie, I'm feeling really tired doing your reading. Some of you are kind of tired, and you're wanting just, a minute of peace. You're wanting some sort of security. And I feel like that's what you're finding in March. Maybe in February, you've been feeling like you don't have a lot of security. This could be financial, honestly. You could be feeling like you don't have enough security, like you don't have enough to build a solid foundation. And I think in March, you're being shown that is possible and that you're able to find some security. If you're hoping for some financial security or some home security, like if you've been living in a place where maybe you don't feel very safe, or a home or a house where you don't feel very secure, I think March is going to show you that you are secure wherever you go. Your home situation could become a little bit better and more stable. Stability is really strong. Security, stability, feeling like you're stable and secure in your relationship. Yeah, we've got the 8 of Pentacles. 8 of Pentacles to me is very much like solid effort, I feel like maybe for those of you that are looking for a job and maybe you haven't had a job, I think in March you're going to find a job. If you're on the job search or job hunt, I definitely see that happening for you. If you're not, like if you're just in a career or a job right now, you are on the right track. And in March, you're feeling very connected to your career. This is very career-oriented reading and possibly some home elements here as well. But I feel like for most of you, some of you are maybe worrying about your job security or your career security, and you're really wondering whether you can really pull it off. I see that in March, there's going to be a confirmation that you can pull anything off when it comes to career. If you are worried about not finding a job, I really feel like in March you're going to find a job if you're worried about finding a job. And it is going to be something that you're going to find very satisfying. Some of you may, for some reason I'm getting this random message, but I'm getting this message that some of you feel like you might be judged for something that you want to do for a career, for a living. 9 of Cups twice. Look at that. We've got 9 of Cups twice. This is going to be a good ass month for you, pal. Pal 4. I think for a lot of you, okay, let's see. If you're looking for a job and you're thinking that you're not going to get a job, you're going to get a job in March. And it's going to be something that's really emotionally fulfilling and really, really satisfying to you. You're going to feel really happy about whatever way that plays out. For those of you that are in a job that you don't feel secure in, I think you may find a different job that has that security to show you that you are secure. Or your current job is going to, like, you know, it could be that they change your contract to show you more security, or there's going to be a proof. So for example, maybe you're worried you're going to get laid off. You're going to find out that you're not laid off and that you have secured your position in the company or a job or whatever. For those of you that feel like your career is not a secure enough career, you're going to be shown that your career is secure. So there's a lot of that feeling of, maybe in February you've been feeling like things are not sustainable, things are not secure, and in March you're going to really see that things are sustainable. You know, if you have a side hustle, maybe you've been worrying that it's not sustainable, you're going to be shown that it's very much sustainable in March. What else do we have here? Just one more card. We've got the Sun card. This is probably the best reading out of all the readings so far. I feel like you're going to get some sort of wish fulfillment. To me, with the Sun card and the 9 of Cups, I'm seeing some sort of wish fulfillment, and it really feels like it has to do with a job. For some of you, it could have to do with a home situation. You're going to get some sort of prayer answered. I feel like with the Judgment card in reverse, I kind of feel like some of you have felt like your prayers haven't been answered. Or like, you know, the universe wasn't quite listening to you when it came to, you know, a career situation, a money situation, or a home situation. Whatever talks about your security and you feeling like, you know, because what could make you feel like your security is jeopardized? It could be that your home situation is not secure, or your career is maybe floundering, or maybe that your finances are not exactly stable. So I feel like one of those things is going to really come through. And in March, you're going to get some sort of wish fulfillment. You know, you might get a raise, you might get some sort of job security, get a job, or maybe you're, you know, let's say if you have like a shop or something like that, or you sell services or products, that your sales really go up. But at the end of the day, the Sun, like, I mean, the Sun is just the ultimate success, the ultimate happiness. So to me, this really is wanting to highlight to you that you're going to be successful in March. Some sort of success is pushing through, even if it doesn't seem that way right now. For some of you, I'm also seeing that if you've been thinking of traveling, or kind of feeling like your prayers haven't been answered to travel, to go somewhere, I think it's, you know, that prayer is going to be answered, or you're going to get some sort of hint of when you can travel. For some of you, I feel like maybe it's travel to do with family, like you're wanting to see family and you're not able to see family because of you know, restrictions, etc. I see some sort of answered prayer to do with that as well. Yeah. But this is a very happy reading. Like I'm really struggling to see, and not that I'm trying to look for negatives, but I'm really struggling to see how the month of March, I think the month of March, it's going to start out good and it's only going to get better. That's the way that I'm seeing it. It's kind of like every kind of week, every couple of weeks in March, you're going to see that things are getting better, things are getting brighter, especially when it comes to your finances, career, or home life for some of you. But for most of you, this feels finances, like finances and career. There's a lot of confidence as well that I'm picking up on in this pile. I think your confidence is about to get a big boost in March. And I think it's because this is not confidence that just comes out of nowhere. This is confidence due to your hard work. With the Beaver and the 8 of Pentacles, I'm really getting hard work that pays off. You've been working hard. This pile has been working hard, and I understand if you've been working really hard and you feel like your prayers are just not answered, your wishes are not being fulfilled, this could be more so to do with divine timing. But I'm also getting that you weren't ready to receive this blessing. I really feel like March is a month of financial blessings for you, and those kind of financial blessings, this doesn't feel like something like, oh, here you go, there's, you won the lotto or something like that. This feels very much like you've worked for this, but we weren't ready to give it to you when you were working hard. And maybe you were feeling like, this is something that you've been working hard on and maybe it didn't pay off, and you were like, oh my God, why is it not paying off? I'm so sad. I'm so pissed off. And I think your guides are kind of coming in this month in March to give you that reward. And, I feel like they're kind of going, oh, it had to happen in March because you just would have appreciated more, you wouldn't have appreciated this the way that you're going to appreciate it in March. Maybe the reason that you had to wait for it so long is the reason that you're going to appreciate it so much. I'm also hearing you weren't fully aware of your circumstances. You weren't fully aware of the person that you are back, even though you were working hard. Maybe you've been working really hard on your mental health, or you've been working really hard on whatever it is that you've been working hard on, specifically, especially in your career. If you've been working hard on a certain project, etc., yes, you were working hard, but maybe your awareness of the whole situation, who you are as a human being, didn't fit with the blessing that needed to come in. Also, a lot of 9s here. We've got the 9 of Cups and the 9 on the bear. So 9 could be your life path number. 999 is, an angel number of completing a cycle. So maybe in March you're completing a cycle of struggling in matters of finance, or not necessarily that simple. Like, it could be that you're just starting a new cycle. Like, by the end of March, I really do feel like you're going to be starting a new cycle in terms of career. Like, something is really going to pay off. I'm really feeling a really satisfying feeling with this pile. I think you're going to feel really satisfied with the type of blessing that comes in, especially when it comes to finances. Yes, and it's going to be the feeling of like, I deserve this. Like, I've earned this. That's what I'm getting. It's like this feeling of, I've earned this financial situation. I've earned this pick me up in terms of finances or career. I've earned these sales that are flowing in all of a sudden. It's gonna feel justified. It's not this kind of like, oh, I just blew up overnight, I'm this overnight success. No, I earned this. I've worked for this. I've put effort into this. And maybe you're the type of person who doesn't truly claim their blessings unless you feel like you've deserved them, like you deserved the blessing that came in because you've worked hard. And so maybe your spirit guides are kind of coming in and saying, hey, if we gave you this blessing when you were even though you were working really hard, let's say back in December or something like that, you were putting loads of effort in, but you still didn't feel like you deserved this blessing. So we couldn't give it to you until you felt like you fully deserved it. So maybe you need to work on that as well. Maybe that's a little message here for you, that you are the type of person that needs to work on feeling like you deserve any blessing that comes in, because that's what pushes away your blessings, I feel, pile 4. But I think you're finally feeling like you deserve something here, and so your guides are going to come in and be like, there you go, there's a massive huge blessing in terms of your career, finances, or a side hustle. There you go. Maybe you didn't feel like you deserved it in the past, but now you're finally ready to receive it because you feel like you're deserving. And you've put a lot of effort into establishing a base of some sort of stable foundation. So congratulations. Pile 4, you know, whatever it is, if you want to come back and let me know what this blessing, what this financial or career blessing is, let me know. I'd love to hear it. If you like this reading, do like, subscribe, and comment with your feedback especially. And I'm going to move on. We're going to move on to pile number 5. Last but not least, you got 2 cards from each of the decks, the animal and the archetype cards. So you could have a busy month. We've got an addict and we've got lover. We've got badger spirit, be fearless and bold, and we've also got skunk spirit. It's funny, both of them are like black and white animals. It's kind of cool that the 2 of them came out together, the badger and the skunk. I feel like I always used to mix them up as well, which is kind of interesting. Be fearless and bold and know your worth. Also, like, badgers are meant to be like terrifying animals. Maybe like something about these 2 animals to me stands out of like, may not seem harmful or may not seem as scary, but in reality are really, really like terrifying creatures. And can create a lot of damage. We've also got addict and lover. There's something very passionate about this pile. Like that's one thing. It's almost bordering on obsession, because I'm with the addict and lover. I feel like it's more so obsession rather than addiction that I'm getting. So you might be feeling quite obsessive about something. Maybe watch your obsessive thoughts, pile 5 in March. Maybe be careful about obsessing about certain scenarios or obsessing over people as well. Obsessing over a certain relationship. I feel like that could be a warning for some of you. Don't obsess over someone where you forget your own worth, where you forget, you know, what it is that you can bring to the table. I'm also hearing be careful of false idols. So maybe for some of you, be careful who you idolize, you know, just because someone seems like they have their shit together. You know, they could, but also just be aware that they also have their own battles. Don't create any false idols for yourself in March. I feel like you are admiring someone quite intensely in March. Yeah, there's some sort of admiration that is going on. You could be feeling like you really admire someone and you really resonate with someone's words and energy. It could be, you know what, this could even be like a celebrity or something like that. But I'm seeing like, be careful who you put your kind of hope into. Be careful who you listen to, you know, always check for, you know, people's agendas as well. Don't take people's words for, like, you know, just because someone says something or that they are trying to achieve something doesn't mean that they are going to. Knight of Cups. That's funny that we've got the Knight of Cups in reverse, because to me, Knight of Cups in reverse talks about like people who talk a very beautiful talk, people who promise a lot of things but don't necessarily deliver. For some of you, I feel like this is romantic. It could be that, you know, maybe there is a person or a partner who's promising a lot of beautiful things, who's promising a lot, you know, promising you a fairy tale, and just being very careful of. And look, if you're in a happy relationship, I'm not talking about you. I feel like this is for those of you that maybe feel that already, you know. There could be a person in your life, not necessarily romantic, but for a lot of you, I do feel like it's romantic. Somebody who talks a really beautiful talk and can talk in this fairy tale riddle kind of style and can give you a lot of hope and can give you a lot of fuzzy feelings. But in reality, they don't really have any physical or tangible backing to it. And I feel like your guides are really asking you to think about that. 8 of Pentacles. I feel like the 8 of Pentacles has come up in a lot of piles for March. Don't give away your power to someone in March. That's what I'm getting. I feel like in March, your guides are really wanting you to make sure that you are keeping your own power, that you're sticking to your own truth, that you're being careful. Not necessarily that you have to be wary of everyone and be careful of everyone. I'm seeing a lot of passion in March for you, pile 5, and what it kind of looks to me like is getting so lost in the passion and being so excited, but you could meet someone who's very passionate and you're very passionate about them, and it could become a really, kind of like beautiful story. But always make sure you're enjoying the passion without getting too addicted or too caught up in it, where you're always checking in with yourself and you're checking in and saying, is this person threatening my boundaries? Is this person overstepping some sort of line that I don't want them to overstep? Is this person keeping their word? There's someone that is in your life in March that, not necessarily a bad person. I'm not necessarily I actually feel like they are a pretty good person. But what is coming through here is be careful that you're not getting lost in this person. And it feels like it's a person. For some of you, it's going to be romantic. For some of you, maybe it's platonic. But for most of you, it feels romantic. I think your guides are just saying, make sure you don't get lost in this person. Don't get lost in a whirlwind kind of romance. Make sure that you're always checking in with yourself. Because I feel like before you know it, this could become more complex than it needs to be. And always check that this person, is their word, is there, when they give you their word, is it law? Like, do they really step up to what they promise? Do they give empty promises, or do they really stick by what they want to deliver, or they say they want to deliver? Be wary of anything unrealistic that this person says. Be wary of anything that this person promises. It's not necessarily that they're not going to provide, but I am getting in a lot of ways, maybe it's a good idea to evaluate and say, hey, you don't need to promise me that because I don't think you can deliver it. Sometimes people can even overpromise things without even... they might overpromise things because the moment is really, passionate or really beautiful. But it's not necessarily that they're trying to manipulate you even. I don't necessarily feel like maybe this person is going to try and manipulate you. I feel like this person maybe will overpromise something where they don't even know themselves that they can definitely deliver it. And I think that's where your guides are saying, be careful. Be careful that just because this person's passionate, and I feel like this person is passionate, they could be a fire sign, Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius, but we've also got water signs represented here. Again, water signs, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. But I feel like because there's fire and water represented here, but I'm within the court cards, but we don't have like air and earth. Air and earth are the more logical signs, water and fire are more, they are ruled by passion, ambition, emotion. They're the less logical signs. If we look at water and fire signs, they're more ruled by intuition and all those things, whereas air and earth can be very logical and can be very practical and can be very pragmatic. So I feel like your guides are saying, be careful not to get caught in the passion and the excitement and I think you're going to have a really exciting month in March, and they're not saying this to kind of ruin your buzz. Absolutely not. I feel like you're going to have a really exciting, really fun March. Make sure to have fun. Make sure to allow yourself to feel the full extent of passion. For some of you could even really be inspired in March, like inspired to create more, to have a very creative kind of like outlet. Some of you could be like writing songs or, creating art, whatever it is that you're creating. There's a lot of creativity surrounding this pile. But at the same time, the guides are saying, ground yourself. Make sure that you are practicing grounding. Make sure that you're not flying off, that you're not in the air somewhere and kind of getting carried away with your passion. Because again, passion is good, creation is good, being creative is good, but be careful that you're not getting carried away. For some of you, I feel like I just have to say it because I do feel there's a lot of kind of pregnancy signs that they're giving me right now. So I feel like for some of you, if you have been trying for a baby or you'd like to try for a baby in March, I think that could be a very successful month for you to try. That is just something that came through. Again, if that doesn't resonate with you, if that's not for you, leave it and just be careful. But this is a very passionate month. There's a lot of intimacy here. I do feel like you're going to be very intimate with someone, and to the point where it really takes a hold of you and really provides a lot of kind of excitement. But at the same time, it's kind of like, make sure to check in with yourself. Make sure to come back to yourself. Make sure that your boundaries are not pushed. For some of you, this could be an ex situation. That is something that's coming through. It could be that you are in a very kind of passionate situation with an ex or a person that you previously had a relationship with. Make sure to check in. Why did you break up with them? Did you break up with them for a reason? And if they're coming back into your life, do you need to check that they have changed? Is there standards that you have set for yourself? Are you lowering those standards for this person? Make sure that you're not doing that. I'm also here, make sure you're not doing charity. So it's like, maybe if someone comes back to you and wants to be with you again, make sure that you're not like getting back with them just because they're asking to be back with you. Check in with yourself. And I'm getting that in the tea leaf cards. There is a card that is called "Do Not Be Tempted to Lower Your Standards." For some reason, that flashed in my head right now. So if someone's coming back to you, to look for a relationship with you, make sure you're not lowering your standards to be with this person. Again, not necessarily true for all of you, but these are the messages that are coming through. It's great to be passionate. It's great to be creative. It's great to be in that kind of fertile, passionate flow. But you can also lose yourself in those moments. Just because, like, you lose yourself in being passionate about a job. You can lose yourself in work. Like, that's how workaholics are created. You can lose yourself in overthinking, and being too logical. It's all about balance. And I feel like your guides are saying, look, you're going to have a very passionate month. You're going to have a month with a lot of excitement. I feel like for a lot of you, there could be a lot of physical attraction between you and a person. There could be a lot of intimacy between you and a person. I'm also seeing, I don't know why, I don't know if this is just the way that my tarot cards, I'm just seeing she has like a redness on her neck, and I'm just thinking of a hickey. So I feel like for a lot of you, maybe there's going to be a lot of like physical attraction, kind of, you know what I mean. So maybe just be careful. Don't let it kind of take over. And if for example, if you don't want to get pregnant, if you don't want to be if you're not looking to conceive, then be careful, because there's almost like this passionate energy that could really sweep you off your feet. And so your guides are saying, like, make sure you're continuing to ground yourself. And even though it's exciting and even though it's fun, make sure you're grounding yourself. You're checking in with yourself. You're checking in with what you want. Are you being true to yourself? Are you lowering your standards? Are you not lowering your standards? Always check in. Yeah. I feel like this is, but honestly, don't be scared by me kind of like talking like this. I feel like this is just kind of your guides coming in and being like, just make sure you're grounding yourself. I think this is going to be a really fun month for you. I think you're going to have a lot of fun, pile 5. There's a lot of excitement. I feel like a little bit of a buzz even. For a lot of you, maybe you're just having a lot of fun with your partner, and there's nothing wrong with that. But again, it's like your guides are just saying, make sure you and your partner are realistic about your future, about where you're going as a couple. It's kind of like have your fun, enjoy all the spark. I kind of feel like your guides are almost like these kind of stern parents. They're like, we want you to have fun. We want you to have like the best experience you can, and have as much fun as you want, but also just make sure to check in with us. Make sure to check in with your grounding. So maybe your guides are just wanting to make sure maybe the month of March is going to be really fun and a lot of things are going to be happening. Maybe your guides just don't want you to get taken in this wave of passion. They want you to make sure to kind of check in with the side of you that is logical as well. And I'm not saying you're not logical, but I think in March maybe logic kind of flies out the window a little bit. It's not in a bad way. You're just kind of like, I want to be taken by emotion. I want to be taken by emotion. I want to be taken by passion. I don't want to think about, like, it's kind of like I'm feeling a really strong energy of like, I don't want to think about, the everyday. I don't want to think about my habits. I don't want to think about, doing my taxes. I don't want to think about, prepping my meals. I just want to feel passion, and I just want to create. And that's great. And it's great when we're in that kind of flow, but just keep in mind, grounding is also important. It has its place because when we're not grounded, a lot of the time our energy is very, very dispersed, and it can have a knock-on effect. And I feel like your guys are like, have your fun, absolutely have your fun, but don't forget to check in. So that's the reading that I got for pile 5. Look, I hope you enjoy your March. It definitely seems like you're going to have a lot of fun in March. If you like this reading, do like, subscribe, and comment. And, leave your feedback below. See, maybe if you want to come back and see how it worked out. But thank you for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.